Is a Republican Party strategist. He joins us now from Washington to talk more about this. Thanks for being with us. So what do you take away from Mr. Comey's testimony in front of the Senate?
Well, you know, this was probably one of the biggest testimonies in Washington since Hillary Clinton testified about a year ago in front of the Benghazi committee. And in that case, you know, it was the Republicans essentially trying to find more information on Hillary Clinton and see how that would impact her candidacy. In this case, you know, it's more the Democrats that are looking to support James Comey in his testimony and see how they can damage Donald Trump in his presidency. And so, you know, I think this actually, ironically, was a win for Donald Trump today in the sense that, you know, it was confirmed by, you know, former Director Comey that Donald Trump is not, in fact, somebody who's under investigation. So that issue actually has now been cleared up, and it goes to, you know, what Trump had said a couple of times, albeit by Twitter, that in fact he was not a suspect. So, you know, I think that kind of leaves this particular issue where he sits, and then, you know, his administration as a whole, and kind of, you know, what comes next in this process. And I'm not sure that you know, the big bang that a lot of Democrats were looking for actually occurred today.
But he said he had quite a lot of things to say about the Trump administration and the way he was treated, talking about the lies. He felt the need as well to document all of these meetings with the president, something that he doesn't normally do. What do you make of all of that?
Well, I think it's a lot of he said, she said, frankly. I mean, you know, I think that Director Comey today, you know, exposed himself as a leaker. You know, he says that he leaked, you know, documents to, you know, the press through a third party. And I think that, you know, that's been an issue here in Washington now, not just in the Trump administration, but in the Obama and Bush administrations, in terms of information being sent to the press that may be, you know, classified or not necessarily ready for distribution. So I think that exposed Director Comey a little bit and hurt his credibility, you know, in some of these issues. I think, you know, unless there are actual recordings of the conversations between him and Donald Trump, I think it's something that it's his word against his. And you know, and also in this issue of loyalty, I mean, you know, the fact is that the FBI director is a political appointee, and there are about 3,000 political appointees in any administration that every president has the opportunity to appoint that are essentially loyal to the president and carry out the policies of the president. So I think this issue is a little bit disingenuous when Democrats want to say that, you know, the FBI director is independent, the FBI director needs to have, you know, doesn't need to be loyal to the president. The reality is the FBI director reports to the Attorney General, who's confirmed by the Senate and also appointed by the president, as well as, you know, other officials within the administration. So I think a lot of that is not really fact-based.
But he said it was important that the FBI remains independent, and there are FBI officials who would agree with him on that, that it's essential to maintain that position, and that you know, you talk about loyalty, his loyalty, he says, is to the Constitution.
Well, of course, I think everybody who works in government and everybody who's you know, an American, their loyalty is, of course, to the Constitution and to the Union. But I think at the same time, you know, the FBI has become this traffic cop in politics, where they, you know, essentially were the referees between the 2016 election and, you know, investigations of Hillary Clinton and investigations now into Donald Trump. And so I think, you know, this idea of a special counsel, which the director brought up today, is really something that would be independent. And, you know, it sounds like he was leaning towards a special counsel for the Hillary Clinton investigation, which, you know, President Obama didn't support. We now have a special counsel, you know, in this case for the Trump issue, and so, you know, that essentially is independent. So I think the FBI is a lot more than a traffic cop and somebody who's managing the political do's and don'ts in Washington. They've got responsibilities for terrorism. They've got responsibilities for crime, for international issues, and so there's a lot more really that goes into this job that isn't really being discussed.
Good to speak with you. James Norton joining us there.